I know the content creators watching are particularly excited for my next guest. Please welcome Canon USA's Senior Director and General Manager for Corporate Communications, Chris Sedlacek. Welcome.
Thank you, James. Thank you so much for having me. Really excited to be here.
CES is obviously huge for Canon. Kevin Ogawa had an amazing press conference the other day announcing a lot of new and exciting innovation. So it's a big question, but tell us what you're serving up here at CES 2023.
Absolutely. So speaking of our press conference, we had standing room only, super excited. So we're here at this year's CES. Our theme is limitless is more. And this is all about Canon showing up to display our technologies and showcase how we are breaking down the limits that technology sometimes, the barriers that technology sometimes presents. So we're showcasing 4 technologies. One is AMLOS, means activate my line of sight. The other is free viewpoint. We have another that's MReal, it's a mixed reality solution, and then of course Kokomo. So do you want me to expand a little bit on these?
Well, I want to get into all of these, but first, before any of that, we got to talk about M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh my gosh.
Because I believe that there's this partnership, there's this new movie he has, a knock at the Cabin.
Yes.
What is the partnership? What does that look like?
Okay, so as a creator, we're an innovative brand. And when we started to think about CES, we don't want to show up every year and have our printers and our cameras and lenses on display. It was more important to us to show how our technology can help people through the experiences they have, the communications they make, the collaborations. So, as a creative brand, who better to partner with than M. Night Shyamalan? I mean, an amazing storyteller. I mean, just a film director, and his new film, Knock at the Cabin, which comes out 2323, is actually the basis and the foundation for our booth. You have to check it out. We have an actual cabin on the floor of CES. Nobody does that.
So am I going to knock at that cabin and get caught up in some supernatural mystery that Canon will help me get out of?
You are, you are. So if you enter the cabin, or enter our booth, the 4 technologies, and let me just state first that we've started to work with Night back in July using AMLOS. So AMLOS is kind of a web conferencing tool on steroids. So the limitations that you might face, you can't see the other participants when you're on a web conferencing call, you can't see the whiteboard. It's a very collaborative tool. So Night used that tool, collaborating with Canon, to come up with this theme. So you walk into the booth. First, you will walk into, you can knock on the cabin, there's an actual knocker. You'll be presented with our mixed reality solution. So with the mixed reality solution, you will feel as an actual character in the film.
Cool.
So the film is this thriller. It's about this family, they go into the woods, impossible situations.
People in his movies don't always fare very well, so I want to make sure that I want to be a character in this movie.
Yeah, well, we don't know any of how the film ends. Well, all we know is the 2, we based it off of the 2 teasers. So you walk in the film, and this family is faced with this amazing decision. The apocalypse is happening. So as the intruders try to break into the cabin, you're using our mixed reality to move things in the cabin, to barricade the door. Then you'll move on to Kokomo. You can actually, again, through this 3D mixed reality solution, you'll be able to interact with the characters in the film, ask them questions. So it's super exciting. You get this truly immersive movie experience. That's what we tried to do in the booth, to show people using this film and using Canon's technology, how you can get a better sense of what our technology is about, and certainly just to get to experience Night's film.
So there's nothing like being here and experiencing it in person. I understand mixed reality, I understand a little bit about activate my line of sight, but can you be a little bit more specific about Kokomo and what that technology is actually doing?
Sure, so during the pandemic, all of us were a little limited, we didn't see our families, so Kokomo kind of came out of the post-COVID era, and our CEO had directed our internal employees, come up with some new technologies that can help enhance people's lives. Kokomo was one. It's a VR headset, and with a phone, with an app, you can actually connect in a photo-like experience with family, with friends. And the cool thing is, there's no avatars. You present as yourself, down to your facial expressions. And there are some limitations with some of the other virtual reality solutions, so this one actually allows you to be you.
Cool.
and be present.
Can I present as a less tired version of myself sometimes if I need to see my family?
You could probably do that.
I need to work on that. Is Canon's version for this that people will have all of these in your homes? I mean, this is such a cool experience that you have here at CES.
Yes.
It almost sounds like something you could also have in public places where people get different sorts of immersive experiences like this.
Absolutely. We're launching this next month, but that is the goal. We want to bring this to as many people as possible. Again, as an innovator, it's so important for us. It's not just about the technology, it's about how people interact and experience our technology to make their lives better, so they can communicate with their friends, their family, and their professional lives as well.
One more technology I don't think we dove into as much yet, free viewpoint.
Oh,
how is that changing the game?
Amazingly cool. Okay, so free viewpoint. Right now we have a collaboration with the Cleveland Cavs and the New York Nets. So think of you're in a stadium. There are hundreds of cameras in this, Canon cameras in the stadium. And using data extracted from these cameras, we can actually create a 360 view of what's going on the court.
Cool.
So fans at home will actually have the best seat in their living room because they'll be able to have this truly immersive experience. See how that player, bounces the ball and gets it into the net, as opposed to just seeing what you're presented on television, what they want you to see. So that's free viewpoint, and we're using that in the booth to give you a character's perspective of the movie and what's taking place.
Wow, these are all really integrated, obviously. And can we dive a little bit more into MReal? So this is that mixed, I assume that stands for mixed reality, MReal.
So mixed reality, think of a manufacturer developing, let's say, a new car, right? So they may have to make a clay model, certainly the CAD drawings, and while those will be important, the mixed reality will actually allow you to get into, let's say, the car, touch the car, open the handle. Is this accessible enough? Does the steering wheel make sense where it is? You'll actually be able to see a true rendering as if you're sitting in the car, including pushing the button to start the engine. So from a manufacturer's perspective, you can make tweaks to that experience so that you're saving a lot of time and a lot of money. So we're using that in the booth to actually prevent people, the intruders, from getting in the cabin and moving things with your hands. It's really cool. I'm not doing it justice here. You have to experience it.
Must be experienced, absolutely. Now, when we talk about how all these things integrate together and we talk about the future of how people will actually use them, do you see a future where people are eventually you get to kind of an intuitive place, right, where you have all these technologies around you, and obviously people know these technologies, they're getting installed, but then they kind of get abstracted away, right? It kind of integrates, it sounds like, in your booth and in your vision into one kind of holistic experience.
So I think there's different applications. So AMLOS, for example, will be huge within education because of the ability to see with hand gestures. People can actually direct attention to a whiteboard or to participants. So I think it has tremendous potential in manufacturing and marketing and certainly education. Yeah. So our free viewpoint, while right now we're targeting the sports industry, there's so many applications outside of that. With our Kokomo, that's really for the everyday user. We want to make them feel that special connection. So yeah, we'd love for everybody to be able to enjoy Kokomo.
Well, I feel like I just got a great download on the future, but this is CES and we have to keep pushing for what's next,
Absolutely.
So what's coming up for Canon in the months and in the year ahead?
Well, certainly we'll be working on other versions of these technologies, but we have a very diverse portfolio at Canon. Most people think of us as the printer and camera technology, and while we are evolving those technologies to provide services and experiences based on the technology to customers, we also are in the medical space and industrial. In fact, we've recently made medical company acquisitions. So that is an area where you'll see Canon in the future. And we have a huge industrial division, so we have so many things that we have a bright future ahead of us, and I look forward to everything to come.
Well, thanks so much, Chris Sedlacek of Canon. Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure, James. Thanks for having me.
Thank you to Chris, and thank you for watching.